Good evening and welcome everyone. To those of you sitting here on the 9th floor of the BDO building. It's a wonderful, glorious Cape Town windy evening. And of course, all of you who have joined online, it's a very welcome to all of you, to the BDO, BSO and Isimovest venture capital partners. We talk investments tonight. My name is Anthony van der Hoek. I am a partner at BDO and head up the Business Services Outsourcing division within Cape Town. BSO, or Business Services Outsourcing, is what we call a new division. It retains all the experience and the qualities of some of us older CAs, as well as all the excitement, the tech of some of our younger staff members. And really, where we've positioned ourselves as BSO is to be there to support growth businesses who wish to structure themselves properly to receive funding. Isimovest Venture Capital Partners are, as you can see in their name, are venture capital investors, and this is the first of many joint ventures or collaboration events that we hope to hold with them. And obviously this tonight is our first event, and it's a kickoff of this series. Just in terms of the agenda and what's on for tonight, I think we've got some really exciting stuff happening. I'll tell you a little bit about what we do at BSO. I'll introduce the Isimovest Venture Capital Partners. We'll have our key speaker, Joshin Raghubar, and we're really looking forward to that, Joshin. We chatted earlier. It seems like you've had an exciting 20 years starting off business. You're in the fintech, you're helping grow the Western Cape and looking at investments. We'll have a short Q&A, because I'm sure there's plenty of questions to be asking you. And then to wrap it up, I'll introduce you to Imtiaz Hashim, our managing partner, who will just say a few words. And then for those of you who are physically present here at the meeting, we'll have some drinks, networking and discussions. To make it a little bit more exciting, we've got some random prizes. And Kim, where are you? Those random prizes will be done sort of during the process. Roughly, the whole process will be about 60 minutes. In fact, they told me 61 minutes, which I thought was far too precise. So we'll do that. We've got some nice prizes, so something to look forward to. So let me tell you a little bit about what we do at BSO. So just the theory is that we come from the traditional side of the accounting, audit and tax advisory business. We do accounting, but we do a lot more than that. We see ourselves as the value add link between investor and investee. Obviously, the investor and investee have certain requirements. The investor obviously wants to make sure that he's making decisions based on strong information which is accurate and is credible. The investee is obviously wanting to grow his business. And somewhere between the two, there's a lot of heartache and headaches in terms of compliance, in terms of producing numbers. And really, at the end of the day, what we want to do at BSO is we want to take that non-core function away from the entrepreneur. We want you to focus on your business. We want you to grow your business. And what we want to do is take that non-core but critical function, which is finance, it's legal compliance, tax compliance, and any other thing that you feel is not the core of your business, to allow you to focus on that business and grow it. So we basically collaborate with you to build your business so that you can grow it through what you do and create the link to the investors. We're positioning ourselves as the firm of choice to support those entrepreneurs and investors and investees. And I think there are many reasons for that. We've got the BDO brand, which is a very reputable and trusted brand. But behind that, there's a host of skills and experience. And in a way, we sometimes like to refer to ourselves as a one-stop shop. If you need any help, we can deal with it in a project managed way, whether it be from your basic reporting, getting your numbers right, doing that monthly audit on your numbers to make sure that everything's correct, all the way through to taking you through the legal process and other due diligences to where you list your business. So I see it as a critical component of any business as they grow. And we've developed the skills and the processes to be able to do that swiftly and quickly. And the best way to kind of demonstrate what I'm trying to say is that what we do, a lot of it is what I see as basic, because I've been doing it for like 25, 30 years. But we still hear stories today and where credit committees are rejecting applications for financing purely because the information doesn't make sense. Might be a good business, but for instance, the management accounts don't tie up to the financial statements. Financial statements don't tie up to the standards. And a lot of these credit committees are made up of very, very clever people, particularly at the big banks, et cetera, and they pick it up very quickly if your finances and your numbers just don't make sense. And you can't expect someone to take a risk on you if you don't have the basics done. And that's what we're here to do, take those basics and make it right for you. I was talking earlier to Yongama from Isimovest, and he was saying it's a common problem. They say, don't worry, seed money, what do you call it, early investing? Early stage investing. The investors don't seem to worry about the basics. They look at the business idea, et cetera. But very quickly, the investors step up and say, right, let's sit down, look at the numbers, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, that's not what you told us, et cetera. And you'll be surprised how often that happens. And it's a big job to catch up. So what we say is when you set it up, find yourself a good business partner like BDO, BSO, help you set it up properly, and you just maintain it from day one correctly, that you are compliant, that you've got your numbers right, that you understand your numbers, and then of course having the BDO brand as a credible partner or collaborator to help you being able to access that funding and that finance. So obviously, how do we do this as BSO? Well, we've got a team of fantastic people, and remember, not only are we based in Cape Town, but we're a national business, so we have access to many skills. All the way up to fairly complex tax matters. And you must remember, within our business or our practice, there's something like 17 specialities. Very difficult for particularly a small business or a business wanting to grow to the next step to have all those resources internally. Obviously, regular communication with the business and also sticking to deadlines. So one of the things that was introduced a few years ago, and I'm smiling because she's sitting in the room, is corporate calendars. I know entrepreneurs that they just want to be free and do things. They don't want to be, something has to be done today, tomorrow, or the next day. Or put it this way, most entrepreneurs. And they need someone to be their conscience, to drive the discipline of the back office. And that's another thing we do. We drive it for you so that you can be assured that everything is in order, and that at short notice you can call on numbers, you can call on processes, systems, etc., and you get that sense of comfort that you can focus on your main business. So as we said, it's vital. Any business that grows, you're going to look for funding somewhere along the line, whether it's pure bank funding, whether you're going to approach a venture capitalist, maybe beyond the seed funding. So I think it's very important for every business to consider the firm or the professionals that they partner with, and that things get done properly. So if I can leave you with any message, that is to make sure that you have planned this right from the beginning and you've done it properly. All right, that's as far as I'm going to tell you about BSO. I could probably talk all night about our business, but I think we're going to move on to Isimovest, Venture Capital Partners, and see what they're doing at the moment. They have secured funding, and they are investing in ventures in Cape Town, some of them fintech, which is pretty exciting. But they also look across broad spectrum of investments. And I'm going to ask Yongama to come up and explain a little bit about what they do and what they're currently doing, and then he's going to show us some of the ventures that they're looking at and have contracted to invest in. So there will be a few videos, etc., just to show you what those businesses are. Thank you, Yongama.
Is it going? Brilliant. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is such a great pleasure to be here with you this evening to share thoughts, ideas, and philosophies. Program Director, thank you for the invite. Thank you for the partnership. We look forward to a lot more of these initiatives going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, my role for this evening is quite simple. It is to advocate for more of such evenings, to indicate importantly and put a spotlight on the entrepreneurs that are in the room, and we'll also see the videos later on, to show that anything is possible, and if we put in effort in terms of supporting these entrepreneurs, we can change the trajectory of our economy in South Africa, the African economy as a whole, and hopefully touch the global economy. There we go. Thank you so much. As introduced, my name is Yongama Skweyiya. I am the Managing General Partner of Isimovest Venture Capital Partners. And with your indulgence, I would like to spend a few minutes to introduce to you to what we do and how we do it at Isimovest. We'll give you insights into the reasons for this meeting, as well as the enthusiasm we hold for building this great country that we are in. Contrary to what Antonio was saying, we don't just invest in Cape-based businesses. We look at opportunities across South Africa, across the continent, and across the Atlantic with regards to Yusuf, which you'll hear his story a little bit later. Our focus is on high potential early stage startups. Yes, some of them have value, and we're trying to unlock that, and in multiple verticals or industries. With an experienced team, we are able to understand most of the major verticals and or industries that ventures would operate in. We aim to support the leadership teams of these ventures by offering financial capital, social capital, and when needed, sweat capital. This is in the form of business development. We are a venture builder. Though our name says venture capital, we are a venture builder. We help entrepreneurs build their businesses and support them in each and every way possible, together with the capital that we deploy and partner with them on. So we have our maiden fund, which is the Technology Innovation and Impact Fund, or TIF. Our investment mandate is founded on 3 basic tenets: technology enablement, for this allows for greater and easier scaling across South Africa and into the rest of the continent. Innovation, in the sense that we like to participate in opportunities that have a unique offering or underpinned by a strong intellectual property. This is both as a means to achieving sustainability, but also as a deterrent to fierce competition in any market that they are operating. And the last of our gates is one looking at how impactful that entity or venture will be. And impact can be assessed in various ways. It can be impact in terms of access to certain resources. In EdTech, it can be access to education. In FinTech, it could be access to financial services and offerings. So it is quite vast as to what the impact can be. At final close, our fund will be $25 million. With our first close, it is now sitting at 10 million USD. As indicated a few times, our sweet spot is early stage. This is typically pre-seed seed, as well as in very interesting opportunities, Series A. Now, pre-seed stage is where an idea has some market direction, though not necessarily a product market fit. Our ticket sizes vary between $50,000 to $1.5 million. And we look at equity that allows us, when diluted, to still have a significant opportunity to participate in that business. As our name suggests, we take keen interest in partnerships and have cultivated partnerships from global accelerators like the Founders Institute to later stage investment firms to ensure that we are able to assist our founders grow their entities even beyond our investment mandate. We look at various verticals like health tech, which Indigenous, led by Yusuf, operates in, edtech opportunities like Zayo, represented here by Akil and Asif, and also co-founded together with these two gentlemen by Hajot and Mvelo. And we also look at fintech companies like SmartWage, which you'll see Simon's presentation at a later stage, and many other great entrepreneurs that I might not mention in this slide, but who are operating in South Africa and improving the ecosystem as a whole. Our aim is to be a significant service provider and a venture partner utilizing all our combined abilities, networks, and skill set. As you can see, our secret sauce is quite comprehensive. Now, to introduce you to some of the people behind Isimovest, I've said who I am, so I'll introduce the other four gents. We have Zolani Madikazi, who's a general partner and is in charge of portfolio construction. Naval Ramasar, who is also in the room with us. He's a venture partner and the lead fundraiser within Isimovest. Then we have also with the Joburg office, Ludwe Lukanda. He's our associate and the resident data scientist. And lastly, we've got the youngster in Isimovest, Kumbulani Kunene, our junior associate, who manages the deal flow within Isimovest. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And more importantly, thank you for BDO for taking the time to have this initiative with us. I will let the technical team cue some of the videos of the heroes of the day that will shape South Africa and hopefully the greater continent. Just for everyone to understand, there'll be 7 of these videos. First one probably will be Indigenous, then SmartWage, Zayo, Revex, Kweli, SkillUp, and ITA. Thank you so much.
Black and Indigenous people of color are underrepresented in clinical trials. Through the power of genomics, we now understand disease at the molecular level. When we aggregate African diaspora genetic material and make them available for research and drug discovery, we can improve drug targets that drive equitable treatment outcomes to benefit all people across the globe. I'm Yusuf Nkrumah Enriquez, and over the last 25 years, I've worked as an interdisciplinary scientist for the FDA, the VA, and Department of Defense. 5 years ago, I became an entrepreneur and developed a company called True Genomics, a precision genomics behavioral health company. Indigenous AI is my next global fight against health disparities.
Join us in driving precision health equity. We are Indigenous.
Hi, my name is Jared Friedberg and I'm the founder and CEO of ITA. In 2018, we began our journey to disrupt the very traditional industry of restaurants and fast food. This industry was notorious for being riddled with operational complexities, having low levels of technology utilization, and hence high levels of failure. With our core focus being on how cloud technology can disrupt the sector, we've utilized technology, data, and design thinking to really disrupt the sector from all angles. From a back-of-house perspective, we are driving down the investment required per restaurant setup. We are increasing the net EBITDA to almost double the traditional levels, and we are driving down our value at risk substantially. For the front-end customer, customers can now order from up to 20 different fast food concepts that have been developed purely for the delivery market and can get their food delivered in sometimes less than 15 minutes. This level of disruption has been enabled by technology, but most importantly, this level of disruption will create over 200 plus jobs within the Eater family over the next 18 months. We are incredibly excited to bring the Eater digital food court solution to every suburb within South Africa, and we are incredibly excited to create 200 plus jobs for individuals who are currently sitting unemployed. We will continue to invest in our people of South Africa, and starting from the Western Cape, we couldn't be more excited of how technology is creating jobs and is setting growth in motion in a country where unemployment is set so high. The Eater digital food court concept is currently leading the South African market within the sector known as dark kitchens, ghost kitchens, virtual or cloud kitchens, and we are very excited about the upcoming 18 months.
I'm Luyolo. I'm a co-founder and the CEO at Kweli. We've created a product designed to enable the roughly 800 million Africans unable to access digital products and services to do so. What we have is a hybrid hardware-software product that consists of a smartphone and an operating system designed to shape and enhance the entire user experience. Our current users are agents, people who buy the device as a personal phone and for use as a commercial tool. Our software consists of various things, including a digital wallet, which functions as a sales portal. Agents use this portal to sell things like value-added services, including electricity, airtime, pay TV subscriptions, and products like groceries, clothes, and so on. Agents buy the phones from us at about 600 Rand, that's cost, and as they sell, we earn on every transaction that they make. We're currently in the process of scaling our business and growing our agent base, and so we're just concluding our seed fundraising round. But we're eager and open to talk to any investors who would add strategic value to a business that operates in the industries that we do. Thank you.
My name's Sean Sanders, and I'm the founder and CEO of Revex. And we're redefining what modern investing looks like. Revex is built with a simple philosophy. Everyone should be in control of their own investment journey. And it was Elon Musk who said, ordinary people can choose to become extraordinary. Quite simply, it's our mission to enable as many ordinary people as possible to responsibly invest through extraordinary investment opportunities, and without the need for expensive finance experts. You see, the retail investing market is going through a revolution, literally an explosion of self-directed or DIY investors who want to invest in products that align with their views and are growth-focused and engaging. With Revex, we're building this for the next generation of investors by offering what traditional investment partners can't: safe and effortless crypto investing coupled with thematic and alternative investments all on one revolutionary platform. That's right. Your cash, crypto, and other investments all in one place. To deliver this for our customers, and more importantly, make it feel effortless and secure, takes work, hard work. And it's here where the heart of Revex can be found, in our team. Extraordinary people who possess an extraordinary amount of passion, commitment, and experience across all aspects of fintech.
The problem that Revex is solving is to simplify people's financial decisions. So I'm Greg, I'm the CFO at Revex. Currently there's a lot of information out there. People get overwhelmed. So we're looking to simplify the process, remove the stress around the investing environment for the individual by giving them themes to invest in. So if you can invest in the underlying theme as opposed to choosing the individual winner within that sort of theme or sector.
My name is Rowan. I'm the CTO at Revix, and I'm a techie at heart. And I can tell you without a doubt that the system that we have built is actually quite insane. Because we have this massively scalable system that we've now put in place, it really allows us to expose a complex idea to people in a simple manner. We want to be a global investment brand, right? Like, that's what we want to be. We want everyone in the world to know that we are players in the field.
The unique selling points of Revix are that the platform is very easy to use and allows our customers to trade without much effort. And on top of that, it's also a very accessible platform, as it even helps visually impaired users to navigate through the platform and investment journey.
The three words that would describe Revix is exciting, real, and ambitious. What I love about this company is all of us are equal. Everyone's ideas are welcome. Everyone brings their own little quirky flair to the team, and that has really made a big difference to who and what we are today and what we've been able to achieve. We challenge each other, not in a negative way, but to upskill one another and to just take our brand further and bigger. It really is a fantastic place to be a part of, honestly.
Now, we're perhaps best known for our ready-made crypto bundles, which are like the S&P 500 but for crypto, and offer everyday people easy and diversified exposure to this emerging and sometimes complicated asset class.
Our crypto bundles are fairly unique in the South African market. They not only bridge the gap between traditional investing in crypto, but they bring a bunch of benefits that were previously only available to sophisticated investors, to the everyday investor. A good example of this is direct indexing.
Now, looking forward, our crypto products are being joined by other exciting investment categories, including emerging themes and alternative asset classes that everyday people can effortlessly invest in. Soon, when you think of investing in fast-growing themes like AI, biotech, 5G technology, renewable energy, esports, electric vehicles, the metaverse, or decentralized finance, you'll think of Revix. And that's not all. We're developing gamified investing tools and a loyalty program that incentivizes, nudges, and rewards smart investing actions.
When we talk about responsible gamification, one of the things that we focus on is trying to make it entertaining for our customers and really fun for our customers to make investments, but also that the entertainment and the fun is in the best interest of our customers. So we incentivize them to do things that work for them or that will be good for them in the long term as opposed to the short term.
By supporting our customers at every stage of their investing journey, we're working to create a next generation of well-equipped investors to bring about positive social change. Over 35,000 customers have already invested with us, and their reviews speak for themselves. We're the highest rated investment platform across Africa, and soon that'll include Europe. We lead the industry, putting trust, protection, and customer security at the heart of our business from day one.
People want to get excited about working with Revix because it's not only a company, it's a lifestyle. We are raw, we're honest, we're transparent.
We're backed by some of the most reputable venture capital firms in the world, and we're excited that the next 12 months will be our most prolific as we accelerate from a startup to a scale-up and aggressively expand into new markets. So, as we boldly continue on our journey to make the extraordinary world of crypto investing accessible to everyone, we invite you to join our journey and become part of a revolutionary investment experience.
Welcome to the future of immersive learning. Welcome to SkillUp. To create the workforce of the future, we need a solution of the future. So, what is SkillUp? SkillUp is a VR-based library of microtransactional skills training content designed to service the industry. The sectors that we focus on are personal skills development, leadership and management, hard skills, and industry-specific skills for necessary training. One of the modules we're going to cover is hazard identification and risk assessment. It is our occupational health and safety assessment. And what we do is we put learners inside scenarios where they have to correctly identify hazards or risky situations. One of our other modules is co-developed by EOH and is designed for unconscious bias in the workplace. In these simulations, you are a person who is being subjected to ageism, sexism, or racism, and you have to decide how best to react with the coworkers around you. Once a learner is in VR, we use the sensor data from the headset and the controllers to see what they're looking and interacting with. We use this data to measure attention, engagement, comprehension, and competency. All this data can be found on the SkillUp dashboard. You can also select different courses you'd like to view, schedule different applications on different headsets, and view the data from each and every session that's done on the platform. Our partner model is pretty straightforward. We take training companies and we use classroom-based learning, practical-based learning, and VR training to create a blended approach. And what we do is we take 30% of all the revenue that's collected for each SkillUp module, and we give it as a 30% sales commission back to the training company. Each training company gets one of our training center stations. It's a fully encapsulated self-charging station, and it is completely remotely managed. Included is also a free travel case for the training company to go on site. Some of our existing clients are Volkswagen, EOH, and KBC. And if you have any other questions or you'd like to find out more, please reach out to me, Steve, at newreality.co.za, or you can take a look at skillup.newreality.co.za.
Good evening. I'm Simon Ellis, the co-founder and CEO of SmartWage. Employers in Africa are unable to communicate digitally with their employees, and this has led to a host of inefficiencies that no one is solving. Payslips and leave are still done manually with paper printouts. Employee communication is done using notice boards or apps, which have huge drop-off, and salary advance requests are done manually with no easy way to track them. In a world that is increasingly digital, why are so many processes still manual? And the answer, at least we believe, is incredibly simple. Existing software hasn't been built for deskless workforces, for people who don't sit behind a computer every day. There are 2.7 billion people around the world who are employed in jobs that are deskless, yet employers only allocate 1% of their enterprise software spend to solving problems for these employees. In Africa, the problem is way bigger. 90% of deskless employees don't have or don't use email, and the majority of apps aren't being downloaded or utilized due to device or data constraints. But 97% of employees use WhatsApp. Enter SmartWage. We are building a cloud-based HR and communications platform that benefits both employers and employees. By plugging into an employer's payroll, we give employees without email the ability to access their payslips, request leave, get a salary advance, and receive company-wide communication, all via WhatsApp. We launched in May 2020 with a team that have a desire to make a lasting positive impact on the lives of millions of people. We're working with some of South Africa's top employers, including KFC, Edgar's, Twizzler, VAT IT, and a host of others. And we've grown our user base and revenue 14x and 18x in the last 12 months. And as of a few weeks ago, we've just closed our seed round of over $2 million. Our vision is to transform Africa's workforce through digital inclusion. And with our mission-driven team, we have huge ambitions. Thank you for your time, and we'd love to hear from you should you have any questions.
Code powers our digital world. From the mobile phone in your pocket to the microwave in your home, code is needed to make it work. This makes coders the architects and builders of this digital age. According to Stats SA, 3.4 million people out of 10 million people are unemployed. In 2022, 64% of IT execs basically said that the biggest barrier to digital transformation was the technical talent shortage. Whereas in 2020, it was a 4% figure, which means within 2 years, we've basically had a 60% rise in demand, right? There is clearly a mismatch of skills between what we need and what we actually have, right? But what if we fill the skills gap? What will that look like? According to the World Economic Forum, by 2025, this will lead to a $43 billion increase in the GDP, as well as creation of 3.3 million job opportunities that can be filled up by people, right? This is specifically in South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria, right? So according to several reports and what I believe, the biggest barrier to growing economies and an improved standard of living for people is basically the lack of quality technical talent. To solve this problem, we created Zayo. Zayo is just not any company. Zayo is a mission to revolutionize coding education, a vision to make coding mainstream so that we can actually see innovative solutions created in the African context. Right, so with over 7,000 learners joining our platform and providing enterprise training to companies like Vodacom and Nedbank's Launch Lab, we figured out and came up with an effective learning methodology that works. We train people to code using interactive coding tutorials with on-demand tutor support, right? Creating technical talent that not only we need, but are also motivated enough to actually drive African economies.
Great, it's really wonderful to hear the excitement and the wonderful ideas from these young entrepreneurs. I mean, it makes you feel positive about the future. It makes you feel positive that we've got the skills in this country. And Yongama and Naval, you must be really proud to be part of this process of creating jobs, allowing people to create their visions and develop these wonderful businesses, which is obviously going to build South Africa. And just to let you know that BSO, we're happy to support you and be there and be part of the journey in terms of this development. And thank you so much for sharing the examples of the ventures that you're investing in. It's really impressive and well done. We're going to move on to our keynote speaker, who is Joshin Raghubar. And Joshin, please bear with me for a while. I was trying to get a very concise bio around you, but I'm going to read out all the details so that everybody understands where you're coming from. You are a local boy. I see you went to UCT. You did a BSc Honours, Masters in Development Studies. You found an executive chairperson of iKineo Ventures. And I see there are a couple other businesses, Explore Sideways, The Field, AdPot, Invest Africa, Africa Partner at Webrock Ventures, Kina Health. Former ventures include Strive Growth Science and Sprout Performance Partners. You also serve as chairperson of the Bandwidth Barn and chairperson of the Cape Innovation and Technology Initiative, CITI, known as short, and a director of BioCity Biotech Cluster, a non-executive director of the Africa Leadership Initiative, and on the EXCO of the Cape Town chapter of YPO. You might think it stops there. He's a fellow of the Africa Leadership Initiative and Aspen Institute's Global Leaders Network. He spent 2016 at Yale University as a Yale Greenberg World Fellow. Joshin is also a global John P. McNulty Prize laureate, which is awarded to individuals who have leveraged their expertise, experience, and networks to build and lead transformative social impact ventures. Joshin was named a Skoll World Forum Fellow in 2020. Joshin, please, we're looking forward to hearing your experiences and what you do.
Anthony, sure. It feels loud here. Can you all hear me? Okay, good. I guess my job is to tell you what an amazing asset class VC is, and you should all open up your wallets and start pouring in money straight away. But it's not. But I'm not. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. But I certainly will share with you how I've spent my time and energy and money over the last 20 years. But I'm actually, Anthony, I'm going to tell you that story. I might have to go back 30 years to when I first, almost 30 years, not quite, but when I first arrived at UCT in 1994. So I was really part of that new generation of youngsters, the Mandela generation, really enthused and full of energy about changing this country, changing this world. And really that formative zeitgeist has really fueled a lot of my energy and passion and sustained me as I've kind of worked over these years. So, you know, I left UCT in the late 90s, and it was a time when still we were, as South Africa, and you know, a lot of you remember those days, we were really emerging out of not just an economic isolation because of sanctions and apartheid, but a cultural isolation. And we were just, in the late 90s, we were kind of all kind of everything was opening up. It felt like you were like drinking out of a fire hydrant, culturally, music-wise, all sorts of things, because we were just emerging into this global, the rest of the world. And tech was a big part of that. Remember, in the late 90s, going to 2000s, the big kind of tech boom was happening, and it was super, super exciting. We were feeling like we were part of this, but at the same time, even though we were just entering this new world, it felt like the rest of the world was still speeding up even faster and faster and faster, and we were getting left behind. And as a youngster, I really wanted to be a global citizen. I wanted to really participate in the ideas of the world and be part of that. And it felt, in a way, that the opportunities for being a global citizen was shrinking if we didn't do something about it. So you had a choice then, really pack your bags and go to London, go work at an investment bank, which I almost did, or go to Silicon Valley, or do something, or you can stay here. But staying here meant that you had to become part of the solution of shaping the ecosystem, of really shaping the environment that we wanted to be part of, so that Cape Town certainly and our region could be part of this global economy, and then we could be part of this global economy. So really, my oldest venture is really a non-profit organization. Really there was a bunch of people like me. I was a youngster in the room, really concerned citizens who felt the same way, and felt that we really needed to find a way and build an ecosystem for Cape Town to become a global tech city. Because we all believed, and I still believe today, that technology has the transformative power to build a better and inclusive future. And that's really what we need here. And I think, and still holds true today. So in 1999-2000, we launched the Cape Innovation and Technology Initiative, really infused by, or I guess buoyed up by the theory of Michael Porter's cluster theory. He's just done this, really looked around the world at what Silicon Valley did, what the carpet industry in Ohio had done, what the textile industry in northern Italy had done. Where do these clusters, industry clusters take shape, how they take shape, and how we would apply that learning to create a tech ecosystem here. So that was our theory of change, the cluster theory. Of course, we were super excited because Mark Shuttleworth had just sold his company in 1998, which is still the largest tech exit, and this was almost 30 years ago, and today, not adjusted for inflation, just nominal value, it's still probably the largest tech exit we've ever had in Africa, not South Africa, right? So we still have to catch up with the 1998 anomaly, or the Mark Shuttleworth anomaly. But it really gave us a lot of excitement. So we went forth in trying to build this industry ecosystem, pulling people together, partnering with, and really create these ties to do that. And the first thing we did as an organization was really try to solve a problem like a social entrepreneur. And you mentioned the bandwidth barn, and that was our first intervention. We realized that the biggest barrier to entry for entrepreneurs in 2000 was telecom. Because telecom was the only provider of bandwidth in the country. And the cost of bandwidth was astronomical. So our intervention was really to just create a big fat pipe, which we can share the costs of the bandwidth for, and get people to co-locate into a building. So the bandwidth barn was to effectively access cheap data, or cheaper data, and make it more accessible. But it became the first tech co-working space in Africa. Now, I mean, only if we called ourselves WeWork, we could have been really rich. But we at the time, it was super innovative. We had, the landlord would give us a lease. It was like, what do you mean, the people don't have long-term leases? You mean these are companies that can kind of in and out, and we had to get a bank to give us MES financing and then claim it back from government subsidy. But we finally got there, and that was our first intervention, and the bandwidth barn still exists. Now, CITI does a number of things in building out this ecosystem, and it's been plugging away slowly over 20 years, building this out, working at incubation programs, acceleration programs. Currently, there are probably over 200 programs across the continent in any one of our programs. We deal at also making sure that we have the talent that can support the tech growth. And in a country like South Africa, that means not just high growth, kind of super high level engineers. This means entry level talent. So we have a program called Capacity, which currently we're training young people in tech skills, life skills, professional skills, and we're placing 1,200 people a year into jobs. So we focus on placement. And then the last area is really looking at what is coming next, right? Building these, what we call open innovation clusters. And the idea here is what's going to be transformative in 20 years, but have an impact in 5 years. And let's apply our energy and resources into building those kind of sub-ecosystems. So we've done that over the years. In the early 2000s, mobile software was our focus. And when industry and government and business catches up with that, we have to move on to the next thing. So currently, we've got a biotech as our cluster. So New BioCity is a cluster focus area for us. Web3, crypto, fintech, edtech. So we're really working in that space and really thinking about how we can, through CITI, build what we call, our mission is to build an inclusive, future-fit society. That not only focuses on high-growth startups, like you're seeing here, but also, which raises the ceiling, but also lifting the floor to make sure that we can all move together. But outside of CITI, and I'm going to come back to what I think some of our challenges are in the future and where we're going to. I also started my career in the Bandits Barn as an entrepreneur, my first business in 2000. And the story here is, really excited. Mark Shuttle sold his company. We were all youngsters, and we thought we were going to all be gazillionaires. And we started a business called the Idea Collective, which was today what we'd call a venture studio or a venture capital firm, but we had no capital, no idea what we were doing. I was 24 at the time. We thought people would all fund our ideas. And since I was the only one who left my job to actually run this, I quickly realized that cash flow was a real thing, as all you guys know. And the business of building ventures and not getting the 2% management fees and trying to run that on yourself was a tough one. So I realized that I knew a little bit about marketing, but I'd been working in a marketing role before this, and I knew a little bit about tech, and no one was speaking. The marketers and techies in 2000 were speaking to each other, and we had just one idea, which was that we could use data and databases to mass customize marketing. So we started a services business to do that. One, we needed the cash flow, so we needed a services business. And we thought we could build a services business and fund all our crazy venture ideas. Another lesson was that you need to focus and actually build a business. So my partners soon left, and I bought them out, and I effectively built a business which is a CRM, direct marketing business, using the power of data to mass customize marketing, which became a lot more mature. And I ran that business for about 17 years. And really then servicing corporate South Africa, doing all the direct marketing, the engagement, the data, the CRM work. And alongside that, we started to launch a few ventures. We never had a little bit of extra capital and cash flow. We had a skunkworks team building out new ideas, and I was still trying to keep true to why I started the whole thing in the beginning. And we launched a couple of things. A lot of things didn't work, and some did work. We launched a business, Sprout, which is, it still probably is the largest programmatic media business in Africa at the moment. I got to a point where, I really wanted to go back to where my core reason for starting the business was, and really focus just on the venture studio space. I'd built up enough capital and expertise and experience and networks by this stage, and a bit more grey hair, and sold off the other businesses, and really now today focus on iKineo Ventures, building out a portfolio of businesses where we're really venture building, using our own balance sheet, and basically funding businesses until we can't fund them anymore, and then we kind of reach out to people like Isimovest to kind of get in onto the further rounds. So we have a portfolio of businesses now in really focusing on SMEs and using technology to support business owners and SMEs, and a big focus on Web3 and crypto. And another big area, and I want to kind of talk to the next part of my story, is that we've partnered with an amazing venture studio out of Scandinavia called WebRock Ventures. And so we're the Africa partner for WebRock. And WebRock, and this is an important part of what why I want to talk about Africa, the Africa story, is, Webrock has built a business over the last 8 years in Brazil by taking high growth Scandinavian businesses, in the businesses on their Series D, Series E, Series F, and taking them into Brazil. A new cap table, new management, but not taking the tech risk. The tech stack comes from a established high growth business in Scandinavia, and under a new JV license or equity sharing, launched the business in Brazil. And many of you may have followed the Brazil story, right? Brazil is the fastest growing destination for high growth tech businesses in the world at the moment. For venture capital, for funds, this is the destination where most capital is flowing into. And we've seen, and Webrock has done really well in a number of categories. They've got businesses that are now number one, number two, in their portfolios in Brazil. And these are big businesses, big tech businesses. So we've decided to partner with Webrock to do the same thing here. And I'll talk about one story of one portfolio, our first portfolio company. We launched a healthcare business based on some success of the Brazilian company that Webrock had launched a company like this in Brazil, using the tech of a Swedish partner, which is now the number one healthcare telemedicine business in Brazil. And decided to try to repeat that playbook. So last year, and talking about capital and people that have invested in Brazil, invested in Scandinavia, over 1 week, we put together the playbook. We raised $3 million for a pre-seed business with no deck, no name. And the reason I'll tell you about, it's almost not quite a year later, but we went to market last week, the business called Kenna Health, which is very exciting, which its ambition is to be the largest primary healthcare business in Africa. It's a very neglected part of the market. And we're servicing people that can't afford medical insurance. As many of you may know, that the discoveries in medical insurances are really for the few. In fact, only 16% of South Africans have insurance. 16% of working South Africans have insurance, so it's tough. But the reason people invested in, I could do this raise in 1 week, $3 million pre-seed, one phone call, effectively one Zoom call, was that people saw what happened in Brazil 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, and seen the massive explosion in tech and tech growth in the Brazilian market. So in 2021, $19.5 billion went into Brazilian tech, right? In about 5, 6 years ago, that was under $5 billion. Where are we in Africa today? We're celebrating it, right? There's a growth story in Africa. Nothing. I mean, we started in the city a long time ago. Last year, I think the Partech study says $5.2 billion flowed into Africa tech, right? Brazil, $19.5 billion. So my Swedish partners are saying, and they recognize this, and our investors that come along with us have said, Africa is the new Brazil. We are where Brazil was 5 years ago. And they want to put money and capital into these markets and try to grow them. So we're really excited by that, and we're going to try to replicate that playbook over a number of businesses. We hope Kenna is a success. Everyone, please download kenna.health, K-E-N-A, health, and use the app. It's free healthcare, so get on it. So we are in a space where if we are where Brazil was 5 years ago, we are almost like we've been, through people like organizations like CITI, to people like Silicon Cape, to people right from the continent who have slowly building these tech ecosystems. We kind of feel like we've been walking through the basement, up the stairs, through the fire escape. Now we finally arrived at the lobby, and there's actually an elevator that we can probably reach across and go and take. And it kind of feels that moment again. And you see these great entrepreneurs. Now, of course, there's some risks, lots of risks, right? We've got fragmented markets. Although we've got a lot of people, their wallet size is very small. Of course, we've got cross-border payment issues, integration issues. We have all sorts of things. No market is big enough on its own to, there's no market like Brazil, maybe Nigeria in time. That's that size, which is homogeneous, like the way Brazil is. So we've got lots of challenges. Exits are still, I think, we're seeing some green shoots with the Paystack exit and bigger trade exits. But still, Mark Shuttleworth's exit is still the biggest, and that was 30 years ago. So the exit, I think the exit thesis is still to be proven and we're still going to show that. But all the signs are promising. More and more capital's coming in. One of the stats I was looking at is that, we've raised almost $1 billion has come in the first 2 months in Africa investment this year. So we can see this trajectory really growing. Now, there's obviously some big themes here in the African space, right? The first one is there's always going to be an opportunity where we have very, very patchy infrastructure. And there's an opportunity to kind of bridge that infrastructure to do things like aggregation models, Uber-style models, gig economy models. We're seeing that, in big raises for businesses that are aggregating kind of small delivery last mile infrastructure models for e-commerce, for grocery delivery. And we're going to see that type of opportunity throughout the continent for how we can look at finding ways to deal with patchy infrastructure and creating platforms to integrate that infrastructure. We're going to see opportunities where it's been dominated by old incumbents and they're ignoring the majority of the few. Healthcare is one of them. We just talked about that as a topic. But fintech and banks have been ignoring people for a long time. And that's actually been a big story of the Brazil story, that old banks, much like we have here, that have completely ignored most of the population. And now you've got people like Nubank and all sorts of fintechs in Brazil. Nubank's the largest digital bank in the world, listed on the NASDAQ. And that's looking at these opportunities. We're going to see opportunities when there's a policy change. So open banking is going to be a big deal. So we're seeing businesses like Stitch and companies across in Cape Town right here raising big rounds because of what's coming in open banking. And we're going to see lots of opportunities where there's a big technology shift that's going to create totally new opportunities like crypto and Web3. And hopefully it's sometimes a combination of all three. And that's the story for African opportunities. And we're going to see a lot of that coming in now. So where does that leave us today? I think it's a very, very exciting time. Technologies, particularly in Africa, has the ability to be not just transformative to your own returns and your own financial returns, but there's a massive upside. I think it really is a space today where technology is actually shaping how society looks like and what the social outcomes could be. So it's, for people looking to participate in the space, I say that, look, it's, aside from the upsides, because I think they are there, it's really an opportunity to, one, participate in shaping and growing the future. Two, I think it is still an opportunity to think and be a global citizen. Sometimes we can still be parochial right here at the bottom of Africa. And participating in the technology space, supporting businesses like the ones you saw earlier, is allowing people to really participate as global citizens and think globally and be part of a global zeitgeist. And I think that is super exciting. So, today I'm continuing to bring up venture portfolio. We're raising a fund. We're taking businesses from here into Brazil. And at CITI, we're trying to grow our footprint, our scale, our impact, and think about the new industries. Because I think it's still important, for me particularly, to be a global citizen and be part of that and be part of shaping that here. And so what drove me, 30 years ago almost, to do what I'm doing still really drives me today. And I still think provides enough reason for all of you to kind of really think about the space and really kind of being part of the story of the African tech and growth scene. Thank you very much.
Sorry, are there any questions for Joshin? Maybe I've got one, Joshin.
Yes.
A very simplistic question, and we referred to the Silicon Valley principle earlier. What are the chances, very simply, that Cape Town could become Africa's Silicon Valley?
One, I think, no, there is no Silicon Valley outside Silicon Valley, right? Even New York, there's nowhere even in the US that replicates what's happened in Silicon Valley. But I think there's an opportunity for us to be a world-class city that's building out tech entrepreneurs. Currently, Africa, there's Lagos and Kenya gets a lot of the press, but the reality is that Cape Town employs more people. Cape Town, excluding the multinationals, Amazons, etc. Cape Town employs more people in tech than both Lagos and Nairobi combined.
Sure.
Right. So Cape Town is a vibrant tech city and ecosystem. I think we've got to improve our PR, but I think what is changing is that as more people, we can bring lots of data. 70% of all startups invested in South Africa are Cape Town companies, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I think what's happening, particularly as more international capital gets crowded in, and it will be crowded in as companies like Isimovest start crowd capital in, more startups start to grow, and we start to see some exits. What really turns an ecosystem, is a big inflection point for a tech ecosystem, is when founders have got capital and they invested back in an ecosystem, when they're the next angels. And we're not quite there yet. And I think that's the next big inflection point. Sweden, which is one of the, per capita, has actually produced the most unicorns anywhere in the world, even before Silicon Valley, but it's so small. Stockholm, Klarna, Spotify's, all these businesses are there. That economy is so vibrant, and why there's so much capital, why I could raise $3 million in a week, is because founders are all investing money back into that ecosystem multiple times. Okay. So what we need is a few of these businesses to succeed, a few of these entrepreneurs to become really wealthy, and for them to start applying money back. And almost every vibrant tech ecosystem has the inflection point is when founders are now becoming angels.
Sure, brilliant. Well, it sounds very exciting, and thanks so much for sharing your experiences and your insights into the future. And just as a token of appreciation, we've got a gift for you. Little birdie told me you might be partial to some liquid goodies. So thanks so much for attending tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then just to wrap up matters, I'd like to call up our new managing partner, Imtiaz Hashim, just to close off for the evening. Imtiaz, podium's yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Anthony, and thank you to the Joshin for the keynote address. It's really inspirational stuff. And as well to you, ISO Invest guys. It's a tongue twister for me. Just listening and watching the videos has been pretty amazing as well. So just by way of introduction, my name is Imtiaz Hashim, the incoming managing partner of Cape Town. I've got my mentor sitting at the back there, Ian, watching over me. So I started with the firm in 1997. Ian was a partner. We were paper-based. We had manual files, leverage files. Today we're a tech company because we use technology to complete our audits. We've embraced the digital age. We've got a digital solutions divisions as well. So I think we've remained relevant because we've embraced technology and embraced change. So thanks, Ian, for driving the change and always pushing us as well. We are a top 5 firm, as Anthony mentioned. I think what really excites us, and I attended a function like this week still, and it said that South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world, and Cape Town in particular, one of the most unequal cities in the world. So that being said, it's quite sad, but there's opportunities with that. So Akil, I think when we talk about data and data scientists and data technology and coders, we've got an opportunity here in Cape Town to create and hopefully develop and encourage people to become coders, to kind of be part of the tech bubble, the tech wave, to help improve that unequal society that we live in. We like to give back. We like to make a difference in this country as well. So I think one of the things that we can do to take an unequal society and make it more equal is through technology. And I think we've seen it. You mentioned, Josh, and that we employ many tech people. In our company at the moment, the challenge is holding on to our data scientists because they're getting snapped up because we train them well, and then big corporates come and snap them up. So at the moment, we're going through a wave where we can't employ enough people because they want the skill sets that we're busy developing in our organization. So I think it's exciting times for us. And in terms of the tech startups, we've invested over the years, personally, in some cases, into tech startup companies. So we love the space. We understand the space. We understand the challenges tech startups have. And we've advised them through the journey. I had one particular two doctors that came to us. We saw them there was an article about them in the Cape Times, and I said, these guys look like dynamic young individuals. They've got a story to tell. So we invited them for a cup of coffee at our offices. This was about 6-7 years ago. We met them. They used to work in the trauma units. They identified a need, on triage and how to look after patients and which patients to look after using technology. They developed some tech, and they got an NGO started, and they asked us for advice and et cetera, et cetera. After listening to the story, I said, listen, this is great, and it's awesome that you're altruistic and you want to give back to communities, but to be a not-for-profit, you need to be a for-profit first to become a not-for-profit. They thought about it, and so I said, listen, we can't really help you because you're going to run out of money. You're not going to make any money, but your idea is brilliant. Then they decided to go to Silicon Valley. So they went to Silicon Valley. They pretty much came back. They met with me again. They said, you know what? They told you what you told me. So I was quite chuffed with the fact that I could give advice that Silicon investors and guys could give as well. And today they are doing absolutely brilliantly. They've recently raised also to about $2 million US, and they were oversubscribed. And some of us here as partners have actually personally invested in that company because we believe in it. So we do understand the space. So when Anthony talks about understanding the numbers, that organization in particular, we assisted them with accounting to make sure that the cash flows work, that they understand how to manage cash flows, especially as a startup company. You can burn through cash flow quite easily if you're not spending it in the right manner. And we assisted them with discounted cash flow models, with revenue models, introduced them to some key now clients as well. And some of the clients are wanting them to go into Africa and into the East as well. And they have to set up shop in the UK as well. And some of this funding that they've raised recently, they're going to set up shop in the UK. So from a BDO's perspective, I think we are very, very well placed to help tech startups, to help them through the journey. We definitely understand the challenges, but more importantly, we have the skills, the professionals in our organization that can navigate any sort of, issues, be it tax structuring, be it, auditing the financial statements, assisting with cash flow models, etc. on the corporate finance side. We've got the team and the different skill sets, and even if we don't have it within our organization, we partner with people that can assist them as well, hold their hand, go to investor presentations, etc. So I think having this function, Anthony, thank you very much for initiating this function. I think there's some great people in the room. I think just listening to Joshin and some of the opportunities and the guys that you are investing in, and some of the videos that we listen to, we certainly want to learn more and meet maybe with some of the individuals, because there are definitely synergies there and opportunities where we can work together as an organization. So I'm really, really excited by what this kind of presentation and session can spur on and maybe lead to better and greater things. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the presentations as well, hopefully learned a few new things, and watch this journey and watch the space. And I think Cape Town is well poised to be an absolute tech hub. I think it's already happening, and hopefully we can drive growth for South Africa, for Cape Town, get the employment rates up, encourage people to go into the tech space, become data scientists, coders, etc. There's certainly a need for this skill set, and maybe through that, we can become a more equal society. And I look forward to watching the space and watching you guys as tech entrepreneurs as well, taking the leap forward. And we want to be there to support you and help you in that journey as well. So thank you very much. Back to you, Anthony.
Thank you, MTS. And yes, just to reiterate, in your journey, and for those that have got growth companies and wanting to improve it, we are here to support. We'd love to be part of your journey. So just remember that when you're looking for professional services. And I think that really wraps up for the evening. So we're going to say goodbye to our online viewers. And for those of you here in the room, we invite you. Oh, hang on, I'm jumping the gun. You know what, we'll do that. We'll do the surprise raffle just now, Kim, I think, just for practical purposes. Yeah, so we'll we'll say goodbye to the online viewers, and for those of you who are in the room, we've got food and drinks, so please come and join us, network, chat, and there's two wonderful prizes which we'll pull out the bag for those of you who are here. And very lastly, before you leave, we've also got a gift pack for each of you, so please make sure that you chat to Kim if you don't see her. Kim's at the back, waving at everyone, so please make sure that you take your gift back when you go. And thank you so much for attending, and look out for invites on our future events. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.